Greetings, brothers. Hello, good evening, folks. How are you guys doing? It's Saturday night, so that means just one thing. We are painting. And I'm returning to my Terminators. I have thought long and hard about my Death Company, and I'm not sure I'm going to run them yet. I'm going to stick with my Storm Shield Terminators. I think it's the right call. I guess we'll see over the next couple of months if it's the right call. I'm going to be starting with Evil Sun Scarlet, which is the red I use on all my Blood Angels, and I'm going to be tidying up because the last time, so a few weeks ago now, I feel like I haven't painted or streamed for a little while. Last time I was doing washes on all their armor, so this time I'm going to try and clean up all the armor. Cool, good evening. Highland Phoenix saw Flight of the Navigator. Man, I've not seen that movie in like 25 years or something. Good movie though, I enjoyed it. Proper 80s gold. You know, it was around the time of like Back to the Future and stuff like that. Good evening, Highland Phoenix. Good evening, Joe. Good evening, Miguel. Ryan, how you doing? Hope you guys are well. Hope you're going to be painting something on joining me tonight. I'm going to be using Element Games character brush as a brand new brush. So I've been holding off using it. But I'm going to make a start with it tonight. You know what, if it's a brand new brush, I'm going to use a different brush to put paint on the palette so that I don't get a lot of paint up inside the bristles and ruin it. But let me know in chat if you've played a game since the Armor of Contempt rule, and if you did play a game, how you find it. Because I played one game against Tau, and Armor of Contempt seemed like it was so damn good. I think I'm playing Death Guard on Monday night. So Death Guard also benefit from Armor of Contempt, but typically don't have too many problems beating Death Guard, so I guess we'll see. Lots of nice colours on these Terminators. We're getting there with the Terminators, Highland. Thank you for that. A little bit of work to do yet. Flight of the Navigators now in Disney Plus. Not worked up to watching it yet, says Mark. There's a lot of cool stuff that appears on Disney Plus, I'll tell you that. Papa says my local meta has lots of vehicles, so I'm tossed up between Eradicators or 3 times attack bikes, but obviously there's a cost implication. What do you prefer? I mean, I like both. I like both probably quite a lot, actually. In my list at the moment, I have Eradicators, but I feel like there's a very good chance that I'm going to be trying out those attack bikes again soon. My attack bikes always used to get nuked by indirect fire and stuff like that, and they didn't really survive, but I mean, that's kind of gone now, so I feel a lot more confident running a squad of attack bikes than I did, well, just before Armor of Contempt came out, I guess I was going to say a month ago, but yeah, just before Armor of Contempt came out. I guess I feel a lot more confident about a squad of attack bikes, and I've always liked the attack bikes. They kind of synergize with what Blood Angels do well, right? They're fast, easy to get within half range to get those extra damage points from the multi-meltas. But, you know, my current list is running Eradicators, and I certainly don't think they're bad either. So I might end up running Eradicators and attack bikes, we'll see. I mean, that's maybe going too much into the multi-melta sort of side of things. But I've not been having much luck with my Dreadnoughts as of late. I guess there's just a lot of things now that can deal with Dreadnoughts, it feels like. I mean, I guess some people are probably leaning back into like double Redemptor, and I don't think that's bad, but yeah, I don't know. I can't decide if I want to go back to double Redemptor, just because it's unreliable in terms of like in a tournament the main cannon on the Redemptor just feels unreliable. When you need it to perform, it will roll a 1 on the number of shots, which I think is kind of horrible. We'll update my video about best secondaries. I've made a few videos on secondaries. I think I've made a video on secondaries since the Nachman book came out, so what else is there still to say, or what question do you have on secondaries? Maybe we can answer it tonight in chat. You played a game but you didn't recognise the data slate rule. Okay, well you should have, because the AOC data slate rule is awesome. For me it felt like my Marines were so much more survivable. Like almost a tune of like 2 to 1, I'd say. Good evening, James. It's nice to see AOC allowed normal service resume, no more Black Templars, John is picking Terminators, all is right in the world. Fair enough. I mean, I enjoyed playing the Black Templars, don't get me wrong, and I think I think we're going to do a video on how to fight against Black Templars on the Grotz channel, and I think I may even do one on the Blood Angels Commander channel on like what to look out for if you're playing against Templars. And I don't know if I'm done with playing Templars. I may play them again. I'm not in any rush to play them, but I still think they are a strong faction, and they have some interesting rules. It's really sad to see that even though they have like that great rule where the Crusader can you can disembark from the Crusader and charge, Land Raiders are I just think Land Raiders, even with Armor of Contempt, I don't I think they have a bigger problem. Like, the big problem is that, like, the enemy can charge them with some terrible unit, and you can't fall back and shoot, so you got a Land Raider, 260-point model stuck in combat with, like, some Poxwalkers or something. And that's what happened to me. And I couldn't... Literally, the Land Raider couldn't kill the Poxwalkers. So I lost that game by, like, 1 or 2 points. I think it was 1 point, because I think I forgot to add my Oath of Moment point. So I think I lost the game by 1 point, because the Land Raider just needed to fall back and shoot. And there's no way you can do that. Which is stupid. I mean, back in the day... Or maybe Land Raiders should just have crushing tracks, right? Like, Land Raiders are giant. They should maybe just be able to run over infantry and give them a bit of a way to deal with infantry and melee combat. I mean, that doesn't help all the other vehicles though, right? Rezio's playing a 500-point Tempest game right now. I have not yet played Tempest. But the people that have played it said it's been pretty sweet, right? So hopefully you have good fun, Rezio. Since the current meta is changing our favourite picks for the list, I'm wondering would it have an impact on secondaries? I don't think anything's really changed with secondaries, unless there's something that I'm missing. I think the video I made about picking secondaries is still totally valid. Relentless Assault is good. Oath of Moment is good. Engage on all fronts is doable, assuming that you've got the right units. Yeah, I can't think of any secondaries that really have changed much from Armor of Contempt. But if there's something obvious that people think I'm missing, I'm happy to jump onto it. Bill is painting up his Leviathan tonight. Nice, Bill. How are you arming it? How are you arming that Leviathan? I think Leviathan's got a big boost from this Armor of Contempt rule, you know that? Which would be nice. I like Leviathans. I kind of liked them when they were more expensive, you know, at like 330 points, but I do think they're more... I think they're more accessible right now at the points cost that they're at. I kind of messed that up. Oh well. Robert says, rip my fingers. Super glue, movement trays, and magnets are a bad combination for your fingertips. Man, I've been there so many times with Forge World models, just that, like, your fingertips just all feel wrecked. And then the hard thing is, like, you end up trying to, like, scrape the super glue off your fingertips with like your craft knife or something, and it just actually makes your fingers sore. I know your pain, Robert. I know your pain. What the Plastic Spartan is dropping with Heresy. G-Bill want 40k players to buy it. I guarantee it's getting better rules than the Land Raider. I mean, it kind of already has better rules than the Land Raider, but it's kind of... I think the points cost is pretty prohibitive, right? Because it's like 460 points, which is like... I know it transports a lot, but like it's only got 20 wounds. 460 points for 20 wounds to me seems like a step too far. If you think a Land Raider is like 200 points less and only has 4 wounds less, I guess they can want us to buy Spartan, but they'd have to redo its rules, I think. But yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe they will redo the rules. I just got back, been on a date night with the missus, went to the cinema for a change, not done that in a long time. Yeah, I mean, I guess nobody's done that in a long time because of COVID. Did you see anything cool at the cinema? I saw the trailer for the new Thor movie, but I guess probably me and my wife won't be able to go for a little while just because, you know, our son Michael's only 4 months old, so it's like, and he breastfeeds, so it's like impossible to get babysitting because obviously babysitters can't breastfeed, so. I would like to see the new Thor movie, but I guess I'll have to wait for it to come onto like Disney Plus or something like that. You know, it's a big change though. When I was a kid, you used to have to wait like 18 months for a movie after it had been at the cinema before it came on VHS. Now it feels like you just have to wait. You barely have to wait 18 days. They turn them around so quickly now from like from the movie theater to home release or whatever. It's so much quicker, right? Siege Drilling Graph Flux, says Bill. That's awesome. That's how I've got my Leviathan set up at the moment. Good evening, Foz. You're not too late. We just got started 10 minutes ago. How are you doing? Good evening, Danny. How you doing? I'm not sure how cheap this new Spartan will be. It'll be really interesting to see what they do with the prices, right? Because Horus Heresy typically, the Forge World stuff typically was pretty expensive. So like, what's gonna give with the prices? Like, are they gonna lower the prices because it's plastic, or are they gonna be very similar? It's going to be really interesting because I guess, like, apparently Relic Terminators are no longer for sale on the GW site, so I'm not really sure what's happening with Relic Terminators. That was kind of like, I don't think they said Relic Terminators were going to go out, disappear off the website, right? And I think it's both versions have disappeared, the Cataphractes and the Tartaros. Because I'd looked for them earlier, unless I'm being blind or unless I didn't look hard enough. All the Horus Heresy boxes have been good deal, assuming you like everything there. Betrayal at Calth was 190 worth of stuff. Betrayal at Calth only was on sale for a lot less than 190 though, right? Like it was like $100. Highland Phoenix ordered a second box of Dawnbreakers today so you can make 10-man Vanguard veterans, need some Thunderhammers, Infernal Pistols, and dual Lightning Claw models. I mean, I think you're going to want to still have Storm Shields, honestly, Highland. I think it's going to be a mistake if people completely ignore ditch Storm Shields. But I guess that's just my opinion. I'm going to be keeping Storm Shields for tournament play, I guess. I just think that the unit works. If the enemy has something that does a lot of invulnerable or high AP, then I would just run I just run the Vanguard veterans right into it. Try and tie up their high AP shots with the Vanguard veterans, get them to tank it up. I think there's going to be value in that. So I am rushing out to replace any of my Vanguard veterans Storm Shields with Lightning Claws. And likewise, I'm going to continue running this Terminator squad with 3 Thunderhammers and Storm Shields. I think that's going to give like a degree of difficulty for people making lists against us as well. Okay, you already got 5 with Star Shields, that's fine. Could I use a regular Dreadnought as a Librarian Dread, or doesn't need Librarian Dread official mini? I mean, if you could convert some sort of like spear for it, you could probably get away with it if you're trying to bring it to a tournament. I mean, the Librarian Dreadnought just has a different sarcophagus on the front of it, I think, and he holds the, he holds the Force Pike. Is that what it's called, Force Pike? I think so. Oh, people... There's no reason to be upset about this Primaris helmeted Terminator. I've told you that there's a backstory for it, goddammit. I said to you that he was on Baal when the Tyranids came and he lost his helmet. It was destroyed by the Tyranids. And then he picked up a helmet from a fallen Primaris Marine, and that's how he's got this helmet. I've made it fluffy so you can't complain about it. But yeah, I'm going to play Death Guard this Monday, and then I think I'm going to play Tau the week after. Like Andrew's Tau though, like Andrew's stupid amount of battlesuits Tau. So I guess we'll see how Armor Contempt can handle up against, like, well, I think Andrew's going to go like 2 plasma blasters on every battlesuit, and they're -4, and they're 3 damage a shot. So -4 against Armor of Contempt. I mean, I guess if you're saving on 2s, you're now saving on 5s. If you're saving on 3s, you're saving on 6s. So that's why. I mean, I guess Storm Shields are going to be good against that, right? Hello from Italy, says Terry. Thank you so much for tuning in tonight, Terry. How you doing? Someone's using a Custodes Contemptor Achilles Dreadnought for a Librarian Dreadnought. Yeah, I think that's... You can definitely make a Librarian Dreadnought conversion without buying the kit. And some of the conversions are actually cooler than the kit itself, because the kit's just the chicken Dreadnought kit with a different arm. I mean, it's not... There's nothing super exciting about the Librarian Dreadnought kit, I would say. And I've seen some very cool ones converted from the Custode Dreadnoughts as well. With the Custode one with the spear, I think you said it in chat. Elder Scrolls 3 is 20 years old by today. Man, when people say stuff like that, I forget how old I am. You know. You know, there's a lot of talk at the moment about these new, the new Obi-Wan Star Wars show. I was trying to think back, like the Phantom Menace was like 1999. So I'm like, bloody hell. I'm getting old, man. People don't mind if you proxy as long as it's the same size base. Yeah, and if you can make it clear it's the same size base and it's a similar size and like height and stuff like that, you should be fine. I mean, at tournaments where people haven't even been using the right guns and stuff, as they're like not even using the guns that are on their models. So if you make an effort for it, you'll probably be fine, right? So, apart from me in Highland Phoenix, like, is anyone dropping all their storm shields based on Armor of Contempt? Has anyone just said, fuck it, I'm just not going to run any storm shields, I don't think they're needed anymore? That's a question. I think I went to the cinema to watch Independence Day as well, to be honest, Dirty Wizard. That would have been a long time ago. Flesh Tearers became a bit better, says Rose, because the additional AP. I mean, they did become a little bit better. I'm still not convinced Flesh Tearers are a top tier army, though, because when I compare them to Blood Angels, I just always feel like that +1 on the charge. The amount of charges I would have failed in all the games I've played without that +1 is probably scary. So that's why I never end up playing Flesh Tearers, because people ask me, like, could you make a Flesh Tearer list for like a game, and I'm like, I don't know if I just don't think I like them as much. Well, I don't like them as much as Blood Angels. If I liked them as much, I would play them as much, right? I think that is a big deal, not getting that +1. That +1 can win or lose you games sometimes. +1 on the charge and advanced roll, you know? I guess you can do something with a chaplain, but then that means you're committing into a chaplain, and sometimes, like, I don't run chaplains very often. I think I'm actually going to run the Sangre Ancient again this week. Jovit, thank you so much for subscribing. The Sangre Ancient kind of won me the game against Tau last week with just making like a couple of really easy charges for my Sangre Guard. So I haven't run the Ancient a lot in recent times. I mean, you guys know that. I mean, I barely run the Ancient at all in 9th edition. But no, I thought there was actually quite a bit of value in him this week, so I think there's a very high chance that I'm going to run him again. Sim Slaughter Tactic, 2 squads of Sangre Guard. I think if you have like 18 or more jump pack models, something like that, I think an Ancient can be helpful. There's a question there, I missed it. Terry says, what do I think of the company champion? Yeah, the company champion. I'm not 100% sold on him either. I mean, I feel like you're probably going to have to reserve him to get the most out of him, right? And like, I try and keep my lists at 3 characters, so it's like kind of difficult to pick Assassinate into. Just makes it like... I actually kind of think you shouldn't have more than 3 characters anyway, because it's not really Hero Hammer like it was in the previous editions. Like, characters only provide so much value, and it's sort of your troops and your elites that do all the damage and work in the game. So because of that, and because I think, like, I really like a chapter master, I kind of really always, I guess, yeah, I was gonna say always, but yeah, in general I usually run a Psyker. So if I'm running a Psyker and a Chapter Master, that really only gives me one other HQ choice. Or it gives me one other character choice, I guess, because the company champion isn't a HQ, right? But then also elite choices in Blood Angels, you get, you know, you typically use your 6 elite choices for, or at least I do. It's very, very rare that I wouldn't use all 6 elite choices from my battalion in terms of like troops that can do killing. So based on that, like, I don't dislike the company champion, I just don't know how you fit him in. Do you think Inceptors are worth it at the moment? Me personally, no. Some people still like Inceptors. I have a problem with plasmas. I really think plasmas shouldn't kill our own troops. I think they should do mortal wounds to them. And I guess bolter Inceptors arguably got weaker against all the armor contempt enemies. Inceptors also took a hit with the engage in all front change, right? In that, like, the default squad size of 3 means if you lose a single guy, then you're not scoring engage on all fronts as well. So, I mean, I've never been big into Inceptors. Some people love them. I think we've actually seen, like, I think we saw one tournament list win with Inceptors, maybe 2 actually. There's a playlist on my channel, so you can see all the tournament lists. Basically, every time a tournament is won by Blood Angels, and I think I've done it for every single winning tournament, like maybe not every RTT, but every GT that has been won by Blood Angels in 9th edition, I've covered it on the channel. And I've covered the list, and you can see what's in there. So I'm sure that some tournaments have been won with Inceptors, but me personally, I tried them a few times. I absolutely hate your own guys dying when you roll ones. I think it's a dated rule that, in my opinion, needs updated. So I'm not big on Inceptors. For 60 points, I'd rather take the attack bike. You know, one more wound and a multi-melta and more movement. And also, I mean, Inceptors into -1 damage enemies, they're pretty well, yeah, I mean, make of it what you will, but, like, they're 2 damage weapons, and 2 damage weapons also have a problem in the current meta, in my opinion. Some people don't think they do again, but, like, well, I'm going to play against Death Guard tomorrow, or not tomorrow, Monday, and they're -1 damage, so Inceptors are just, even on high power, they're just doing 1 damage. It's not great for 60 points per model, in my opinion. But yeah, some people like Inceptors. They're not for me. Company Champion is an awesome character killer. He can be. You think with the 3 damage relic blade, you just make him into a character killer. He is cheap, I guess. He can be decent because he's nice and cheap. I think if they changed Inceptors to just do mortal wounds to yourself, I could probably get on board with them. I mean, it does seem... Yeah, I think it's probably just because Plasma for Marines has always done mortal wounds. I guess it has for a while killed the bearer on a roll of 1, but I think an outright kill on a model at 60 points is just way too much. Because you get 6 shots, so basically averages are, well, I mean, he gets assault 3, but I guess if you shoot them at any squad that's got more than 6 guys, you get 6 shots. So averages says you're always going to roll a 1 if you've got 6 shots. So if you're always going to roll a 1, every time they fire, they're going to kill themselves. It's just stupid. I mean, even taking a mortal wound every time they fire is pretty horrible. So killing themselves is just way over the top. Does any other army have a weapon that kills himself if they overcharge? I was actually wondering that. Heyman asks, what colors do you use for blonde hair? Someone will have to tell you in chat, Heyman, because I purposely replace headless guys with helmeted guys. I'm not really a hair painter. The only model that I've painted that didn't have a helmet on was Mephiston, and I honestly don't know how I painted his blonde hair at this point because I did it a few years ago. probably just started with something. I was gonna say, I have no idea actually. I would have probably just done something simple like one color and then some sort of like Agrax Earthshade wash over it or something. If I had to paint hair today, that's probably what I would do. But yeah, I'm not. Someone in chat will tell you how they paint blonde hair, because a lot of people in here paint heads a lot better than I do. Did I hear about Primaris Terminators coming? I did hear the rumor about Primaris Terminators. I mean, that would be nice. Like, is that another new type of Primaris armor though? Like, Primaris Terminator armor? Or do we toughness 4? Like, what's the deal? Do we get deep? Do we get death from above? Because I guess that's the big problem with Gravis. You know, like if you look at aggressors, like aggressors, if aggressors are death from above, they might be more comparable to Terminators, I guess, but because they don't. I never paint her helmet is always on. I even put a helmet on Mephisto, says Rose. I mean, okay, you went one step further than me, Rose, but yeah, helmet isn't. Most of my guys wear helmets. Mark says Gravis is Primaris Terminator armor, though. Yeah, so that, I mean, there definitely is a rumor flying around that there's going to be a Primaris Terminator, though, so who knows what that's going to look like, I guess. But yeah, I think in a way people probably thought that Gravis is the Primaris Terminator. I think we'll just get true skill Terminators. I mean, I guess they could just be true. Like, why do they have to be Primaris? I suppose just because from a lore standpoint, the whole lore thing with Carl making Terminator or making new Marines, they're all Primaris. It would be nice if they just went screw it and just made some more new Firstborn. I think a lot of people in the community would be happy for new Firstborn, honestly. They wouldn't even care about the stats. They'd just be happy that there was new Firstborn. Because obviously some people feel like it's, you know, the Firstborn just days are numbered or something like that, right? Some people don't believe the leak on Terminators. They think Gravis are the heavy armored Marines and that's it. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I feel like Marines are a weird one, right? We already got like a huge amount of codex bloat. I don't know what else you would call it, but like we have a lot of data sheets in the codex. So I don't think they really worry about adding more data sheets because like we get so many kits and models and stuff. I mean, I only collect this one army and you know, I buy new stuff. Trusted I haven't bought so much new stuff since my second kid was born, but before that, you know, I was buying new stuff every month, and it's not like not like I'm close to completing my collection of having one of everything. There's still squads of guys that I just have never owned or I think they would just do a close combat focused aggressor, a new scale Terminator. I mean, it does seem strange that there's no Thunderhammer or 3 damage weapon option on the Gravis, but then if you look at some of the other armies, especially some of the others that just got their codex, like Custodes don't have a huge amount of melee that can spec for 3 damage weapons. It's just like they just had some armies that maybe can't do that, or some units that can't do that. So I mean, my predictions probably are that there's going to be a jump pack assault unit, and that's going to help Blood Angels a lot, I would guess, because we've been crying out for a jump pack. A jump pack Primaris unit. So I think we'll get that, and I think we'll be able to do a lot with it, or I hope we'll be able to do a lot with it in terms of like just adding more versatility to our army lists. But I mean, and I also heard that there's a melee Redemptor Dreadnought, but I mean, yeah, it's just all rumors. Like, I know nothing fact-wise, so I mean, I guess I'm focused on right now. I guess I'm focused on making a new tournament list with the Armor of Contempt changes, and I do think, excuse me, I do think Dreadnoughts are in a worse state than they were before. You know, obviously the Contemptor went up in points, and you know, there's certain armies now, like Tau, for example, with like the gun that completely ignores invulnerable saves. You know, that they can one-shot Dreadnoughts. Had that happen to me in this week against the game against Tau, where it's just like just one single hit roll, wound roll, and that's your Dreadnought gone. There's like nothing you can do about it. From full health as well. So I wonder, based on that, does that weaken the choice of Dreadnoughts as a meta pick? I mean, maybe. I have a lot of Dreadnoughts, and I've been running them a lot this edition, and I ran 2 at one of the tournaments that was at, and I ran 3 at the other, but now I'm at the point where like I'm thinking maybe I run 1 or maybe even run none. And I didn't think I would get to a point where I was thinking I would run no Dreadnoughts, especially because the -1 damage is so nice, but it's tough. What about, who cares about Primaris Terminators, jump pack assault intercessors? Well, I mean, a jump pack unit. I'm not sure about assault intercessors, because personally I don't think assault intercessors do enough damage. But yeah, I mean, a jump pack unit with weapon options. I think that's the thing that worries me the most, is if, you know, like, look at the Firstborn Death Company versus the Primaris Death Company. Like, no one's running Primaris Death Company because they don't have the right weapon options, or they don't have enough flexibility in their loadouts. So if we do get like a Primaris jump unit, it's gonna need to be flexible. I mean, the Blade Guard veterans have kind of got away with it because they've already got like master crafted power swords, but I am well, I'm kind of off Blade Guard veterans, and I do wonder if we're not gonna see that much weapon options, and if we don't see that much weapon options, that might be annoying. That might suck. It might mean that they release like a Primaris jump unit, everybody buys them, but then no one fields them like the Death Company intercessors. This guy asks, how do I feel about triple Dreadnought lists now we have AOC? Well, I mean, how do you deal with the -6 cannon that the Tau have that deletes a Dreadnought every turn? And I guess it depends if Tau are going to still be in the meta, right? Because obviously there's a lot of changes that happened. Tau lost a bunch of AP, so I don't know if we're going to see as many Tau as we possibly thought we might see. So maybe if you're not running into Tau, then the 3 Dreadnought list is okay. I mean, I took the 3 Dreadnought list to GT and did really well with it, so I do like the list. I do think there's strength in it for Blood Angels. It's really going to depend on, like, if Tau were everywhere, and they've got those, like, what are they called? It's not the Long Strike, but the Long Strike is good as well. Oh, I forget what they're called, but you know the cannon I'm talking about. The railgun on the Tau transport. It's not the Devilfish. Hammerhead, is it? Rizal says Dreadnoughts are good, you just won't skew into them. Inceptors with Gravis fighting style and an appropriate melee weapon, and have them deal mortals on the charge. I mean, they can deal mortals on the charge. Well, they used to do it automatically. We've got Hammer of Wrath that you can do some mortals on the charge. And Dreads are better than tanks, there's no denying that, yeah. The railgun on the Hammer Strike, yeah. Leviathans are 2-up, yeah. And I mean, but even the Leviathan isn't going to get a save against that railgun, right? Because it's -6. So even ignoring 1 AP, you're still -5. So even a Leviathan on a 2-up save is not getting a save against the railgun. And if the railgun hits them, it's 12 damage. Trusted it won't kill the Leviathan. But I mean, it'll put you straight into low bracket, and yeah, I just think the railgun's kind of, I don't know. I'm pretty sure that railgun has a 72-inch range as well, so I guess if you were playing against a really clever Tau player that could hide 1 or 2 of them at the back, and just screen you from them all game so you can't get into melee with them, I mean, I'm not sure. I need to see what more Tau lists are looking like, because it feels like Tau are the counter to the Dreadnought spam. But Tau did take a pretty heavy nerf this last week, because they lost that -1 on Montca, they lost a lot of their indirect fire strength, and they lost, and Marines got +1s against them basically with all their saves with Armor of Contempt. So Tau against Marines feels like Marines should really do well in that matchup now. Whereas before it felt like it really favoured the Tau. Say before it favoured the Tau like maybe like 80-20, now I would say it favours the Marines like maybe 60-40. Assuming you can close the distance and get into combat with the Tau, then they got a huge problem. Or maybe it's not all Marines, but I mean maybe it's Blood Angels 60-40. I feel before Tau had a huge edge on us though. But yeah, it's dependent on if like that is are we gonna see railguns at tournaments? So that's a question. So I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I've only played one game since Armor of Contempt came out, so I get Dreadnoughts are arguably a lot better, and I probably want to field. I just need to field more lists, I guess. But I'll probably try a true Dreadnought list at some point. I'm just not sure I'm going back to a 3 Dreadnought list. But then I suppose the thing with Dreadnoughts before you really felt like you needed Psychic Fortress, whereas like now maybe you don't. So maybe you could field the 3 Dreadnought list, and rather than run that Psychic Fortress Librarian, just run just don't run him, just get him out and run the Dreadnoughts. Psychic Fortress still has a place in Redemptor list. I mean, does it? I mean, Redemptors can now get a save against blasters on a 5-up, same as they would from the Psychic Fortress. Against Dark Lances, they'd at least get a save on a 6 before they get nothing. I'm not sure if... I mean, Psychic Fortress has some value, sure. I just don't know if it has enough value anymore. I think I'd have to play a bunch of games with the Redemptors to see. I mean, if it was a choice between Psychic Force and a Tech Marine for the Redemptors, I'd take the Tech Marine now for sure, I think. Knights Codex will probably have something that will be on similar power to railguns. Yeah, I mean, Knights probably will actually, yeah, so I guess we'll have to see what Knights get, because if Knights also have the ability to like blow up dreadnoughts in a single turn, then yeah, I mean, I think it's just going to be super hard to field dreadnoughts and not feel weak, I guess. Really hard to say. So yeah, my list at the moment has one dreadnought in it. It's going to have one dreadnought in it on Monday night against Death Guard, but like, I'm really on the brink of even dropping that last dreadnought and maybe swapping out for attack bikes. Because I think a Relic Contemptor with a Volcon, a Cyclone Missile Launcher, and a Combat Fist is 180 points, which is what 3 attack bikes cost. With multi-meltas. And I've had a lot of success with attack bikes with multi-meltas in games, and they also I feel like they synergize really well with Blood Angels, because you get that nice long movement, they can pick up objectives that you need to secure, they can get in half range really easily for that extra 2 bonus from the multi-meltas. I like multi-melta attack bikes a lot. I like them so much that I really wanted to try Invader ATVs. I never did. I don't own any Invader ATVs, but you know, everybody was flaming me for saying that I liked Invader ATVs. And I was like, yeah, I just think that they're, for the points and the wounds and the speed, I think they do work. Thousand Suns are going to be a nightmare. In what way? Just because the Armor of Contempt is going to make them very durable. I mean, that is certainly something that's going to happen for Thousand Suns. They're going to get like such a good durability. Against 1 damage stuff, they're going to be so durable. Maybe, you know, like if Thousand Suns are in the meta, that's maybe going to be a bit of a counter to these builds where we see tons of Lightning Claws, because against 1 damage stuff, they're going to be saving on 2s, and then they're going to get Armor of Contempt. So I mean, against Lightning Claws, for example, if you don't have Assault Doctrine up, Rubric Marines or Rubric Marines, yeah, not even Terminators, are just going to save it. They're just going to be saving on 2s against Lightning Claws, which is pretty nuts. Fire dragons are so annoying. Jumping from cover, one-shotting my Redemptor and jumping back in. I saw the rule that you could run a Chaos Knight. Did they release a rule for Imperium Knights as well? Was that a thing? If so, I didn't see that. That would be cool, though. I guess I've always kind of thought it would make sense that you could run a knight with a Space Marine army, and you shouldn't really lose your Doctrines, right? Because they are kind of allies. Aren't ATVs 85 points for a squad up to 3? I was just looking at them yesterday. It's really effective. I mean, the problem with ATVs is you can't revive them, but I don't run a priest anymore, so I mean, for me, that wouldn't be a problem. And the other problem with ATVs is that they don't have core, but I'm typically, if I'm going to be running them, they're probably not going to be running with my characters, so the fact they don't have core doesn't really affect the way I would be using them. So the only downfall to the ATVs over, like, let's say a land speeder is the land speeder is going to score you engage on all front points because it's got the vehicle keyword, whereas the ATVs, pretty sure they don't have the vehicle keyword. So they have the same problem. Like, if you want to get engaged on all front points from ATVs, you're going to need to have 3 of them in a squad. And the second you lose one, you're not getting the points. So there's definitely less value in Invader ATVs than just based on that, I guess, right? Did you get my tweak list for the review following Armor of Contempt? I put 3 attack bites with multi-meltless back in. Can you DM me on Discord, Highland? I don't get notifications if people reply to a message on YouTube that I've already replied to. So I only get notifications for new YouTube comments. So if you, like, added it as a reply to an existing comment, then, like, I don't get a notification for that. So I wouldn't have seen it. Yeah, if you PM me on Discord, though, Highland, I'll make sure that we use the right list for tomorrow's show, no problem. I don't know if this is the place to ask, but I'm starting out my first Blood Angels army. I like the look of the Firstborn Assault Marines with jump packs. Are they still worth including? Not really, but if you like the look of the Firstborn with jump packs, you could look at Vanguard Veterans. They're very similar to those Assault Marines. They're just going to be they're going to do a little bit more damage. They have arguably some better weapon options, and yeah, I mean, a lot of people include Vanguard Veterans, and there's multiple ways you can paint them as well. So the only difference between Veterans and regular Marines is regular Marines, or like Assault Marines, would have yellow helmets. The Veterans potentially should have gold helmets, but I mean, it's your army, so you can paint them however the hell you want, right? I actually painted my Veterans gold with red helmets to switch it up, but it was just because I painted a lot of red in the last few months, I think, before I bought my Veterans, so but yeah, I feel like Assault Marines are kind of a dying breed. We don't see them very often. I don't think they're very effective. Depends if you want to be competitive or not. If you just want to have fun with the models, Assault Marines are fine. I just don't think they have a place right now in competitive play. I mean, maybe some people are making it work, but we haven't really seen them in any, like, tournament winning lists, I guess. Anything like that. If we get to bring knights, I'm going to bring my Castellan. I have a paladin I could bring as well. See, I like the Knight Crusader with the battle cannon. I think that's pretty cool. Would you run 1k as a fire base if you can keep docks? Says Jake for the $2. Jake, you're going to have to elaborate a bit on this. You mean, I think you're asking if in a 1k list you can run like some sort of shooting death ball? Is that what you're asking? Or like, Oh right, one Imperial Knight is a fire base. I'm sorry, IK. I'm with you. Would I run an Imperial Knight if I can keep all my assault doctrines? Well, I think I probably would at some point because I liked running the super heavy tanks, right? And I've got a super heavy tank. I've actually got two. The one that I typically run, and one of them is undefeated in 9th edition, which is my Relic Falchion, which arguably got better in this last patch because of Armor of Contempt as well. Because it's got a 2-up save, it doesn't have an invulnerable save, so that was kind of its big weakness. So ignoring 1 point of AP actually makes it a lot stronger. So I think like a super heavy support for a Blood Angels army, just doing a bit of shooting can actually bring quite a lot of value. Like I said, I did it with a super heavy. I am actually half tempted to buy an Astraeus in the coming months. I think an Astraeus is probably pretty useful now. I did some maths on the Astraeus a few weeks back, and you'd be surprised at how much damage it can actually pop out, because it can get, like, on average, I think it can get 19 3 damage shots per turn, which is a lot of damage, 3 shots. Yes, the AP on some of the shots isn't as great as you would hope, I guess, now again, thanks to Armor of Contempt, but I mean, it's still 19 3 damage shots per turn. And that's, you know, that's enough to make the opponents worry about saves and stuff like that. When I used to run the Falchion, which is a 600 point tank, so arguably a little bit more expensive than Imperial Knight, because Knights usually, or at least I think they were coming in at like 450, 500 points. I guess things have changed maybe a little bit, but I think the Falchion that I ran was like 630 points because I upgraded it to have laser destroyers on it rather than las cannons, because I hate las cannons and don't think they're reliable. And I put a couple of extra sponsored guns on there as well, right? So like I ran that, I think it was 630 points on the Falchion, and I ran it with a Tech Marine as well. Tech Marine's 100 points. If you upgrade him to Master of the Forge, and I think you want to do that so that you're trying to keep your tank alive at all costs, basically. So it basically cost me like 700 points, 720 points or something to run the Falchion. And what I did at that point was I run a battalion, so that takes me like 3 troop choices up to about 1,000 points. I think I'd run like a character or 2, and then 1 Death Company, 1 Sanguinary Guard, 1 Vanguard Veteran Squad. Because I think all 3 of those squads are probably still like our best troop choices in terms of like damage output. So 1 squad of each, and then, you know, the tank bringing up the backfield, supporting, and basically being a bit of a bullet magnet, giving the jump units a bit more freedom, because people are gonna be scared of the tank, so they're gonna go after the tank, right? And I liked that list. Like I said, it never got beaten. I played it 10 times. I played all the games were played on stream as well, so they're all on the channel for you to watch if you want to watch them. So yeah, I think an Imperial Knight with Blood Angels could be cool. I definitely would. If I had a knight, I would do it. I might buy a knight. Like, if they do that, I'd rather pay £80 on a knight than £250 on the Falchion. What must be rich? BAC. I know that there's also the new Plastic Spartan coming out for Horus Heresy, but like, I don't know if I like the Spartan. I mean, I've obviously looked at its profile sheet since they announced that there's a plastic version of it, but I think unless it gets new rules, I don't know if it's. I don't feel it's got enough wounds for the cost of it. I like the transport capacity, but I think it'll just be a bit of a bullet magnet, and yeah, maybe it'll save some guys. maybe it'll get like Terminators across the board. But yeah, I'm not sold on it. I mean, it's a cool model, don't get me wrong. I like the models with the 2 laser destroyers on both sides of it. And I think you have to take the laser destroyers over the las cannons. Las cannons obviously have better range than the laser destroyers, and more shots. But I think you have to take that D3 plus 3 damage. Like, you'd be stupid not to. D6 damage is like anything but reliable, right? D6 damage will lose you games, actually, because it's so unreliable, I think, like. It seems like it would work well to have a knight with a close combat-based chapter, sit at the back and blast things. This chain of thought could be expensive. Yeah, I mean, that's exactly how the super heavy tank works. And I actually originally bought that super heavy tank because I was sick of playing against knights and losing. This was back when, like, you know, I think in 8th edition, every single charge people got to do Overwatch for free, right? Like, it didn't cost CP and you got to do it on every single charge. So, like, I was struggling with some of my Blood Angels lists because, like, I guess just if you're, you know, like, on some armies, Overwatch can be pretty oppressive. And with the amount of shots that some of those knights were getting, like, every time I did every time I did a charge, I would lose, like, 3 or 4 models out of a 10-man squad. And if you need the 10-man squad to do the damage and you just lost 30 or 40% of it, it was tough. So the reason I bought the super heavy tank was because I wanted to. And the rules were different back then for the Volcano Cannon. The Volcano Cannon used to do, I think it used to do 2d6 damage. So they changed it to flat 6, which I like, but it was pretty crazy when it was 2d6 damage and a single shot could do 12 damage. I guess similar to the plasma railgun from the Tau, right? I wonder if you get the laser destroyer and heavy flamer options with the Spartan. I mean, I don't actually think there's a different, at least on the previous Forge World tanks, there wasn't a different, like, the laser destroyer just uses the same thing as the las cannons. There's not like a separate, what I'm trying to say, there's not a separate piece of kit for the laser destroyers. You just make the las cannons, Highland, and you just pay the points for the laser destroyers. What would it take to get the Ball Predator back in the game? I think it would make the Ball Predator's weapons assault, and then we could maybe see it back in the game. I think it would be pretty. I actually think it would be pretty damn cool with assault. I mean, I'm here all week, and I've got so many ideas to make things cool, but like, it does seem like, I don't know. I'm sure Games Workshop knows Space Marine armor in general has big problems in that, like, no one takes the armor, everyone just takes the dreadnoughts. So I hope it's only a matter of time before they figure that out and make some sort of sweeping change to get armor back into the game, because I think the game would feel better or more varied, I guess, if there was armor, like tanks, more often. But yeah, no, thank you for the $2, and it's a good question. I think an Imperial Knight could work really well with a Blood Angels list. Like I said, I think the Falchion works really well with Blood Angels, so I think a knight providing fire support in a similar fashion, I think would actually be really good. Yeah, it all comes down to if you could do it without losing your doctrines, right? crushing tracks rule. Yeah, that's the one thing that's sad about the... That's the one downside to the Straeus, I feel like. The Straeus doesn't have crushing tracks. It does have fly, which would make getting it around the board like a lot easier, but no crushing tracks, yeah. Alright, I need a dry brush. This one. Do you know what? I've been using red all night and I'm going to put white on. I'm going to clean out my water. I'm going to be right back. What role do you think the Leviathan Relic Contemptors will fill in AOC? Are Leviathans more likely to move up the board with Relic Contemptors used for double Volkite for range? I mean, in a way, yeah. I'm not a huge fan of the double Volkite though. I thought it was decent at 150 points. What is it now, 170? I mean, I guess it's okay. I basically lost the tournament because it doesn't do any damage to things that have a good armor save. So because of that, I'm like biased to not liking the double Volcons. Like if you run them into an army that has like solid good armor saves, and I guess there's going to be even more of them now because of yeah. I guess if you're running them into stuff that's got a good armor save, then it's gonna... Yeah, I just don't like them. I don't know if there's anything else to say beyond that. I just don't like the double Volcons. All tanks get the machine spirit strat? You mean like they just wouldn't get profiled, essentially? I mean, that would help, but I don't think they would go that far on it. I think they just need to come up with something else for tanks, like... Could they ignore an additional point of AP, like a double armor of contempt on the vehicles? Would that help? Oh shit, no, this is not the right paint. Thank goodness I didn't start this. Where's... Tyrant Skull, that's what I'm looking for, not Praxi White. Okay, good. I'm an idiot. I'm looking for this. Just got 9th in an RTT where Vanguard Tactics Coach won. Should have been 5th on score if I didn't let my opponent score more. John, should you opponent and how to keep your opponent's score down? Okay, I mean... I feel like that is going to depend a lot on your opponent's army and stuff, but I could have a think about it. The Ball Predator came out way ages ago. Was it 2nd edition that the Ball Predator came out? Yeah, I feel like it was, yeah, because I've had a Ball Predator for what feels like forever, I guess. Some of those models that came out so long ago, it feels like they just copy and paste the rules from edition to edition. They don't seem to think about them too hard, and in some ways that alone just ends up hurting the model so badly, to a point where, like, I guess where you are now, where like some of those models are just kind of unplayable, or maybe not unplayable, just not competitive in the slightest, I guess would be a better way of saying it. Have I still not received my wet palette? I have not. I got an email from Kickstarter this week about it. I guess they've had I mean, because of the Brexit and I guess probably COVID and probably the war in Ukraine, everything seems like it's taken longer than it should have. So, no, I mean, I feel like I should be getting my wet palette soon, but no, I've not heard anything. I honestly didn't even read the email from Kickstarter. Maybe someone in the Discord has read it, because you know, that's the thing with Kickstarter, is like sometimes I've had some Kickstarters where the products come pretty quickly, and then I've had other ones where it's just lingered on and on and on and on, and this wet palette has been like the same. Like, I must have ordered it 18 months ago at this point. So like, am I ever getting it? I don't know. Hopefully. Here's a crazy one. Tanks get to move a certain amount if it takes a certain amount of damage as the machine spirit kicks in, or it gets to shoot back, something like that. I think probably what they have to do is they have to just rethink armor, or at least Space Marine armor, or just the points costs. I don't know. I mean, yeah, I honestly don't know how they make armor better, but like at the moment it just doesn't feel like it's in a good place at all, right? Is it just me, or it feels like they're putting blast onto too many weapons? I haven't necessarily felt like they've been putting blast onto too many weapons. What weapons has been bothering you in terms of blast? Tanks should just be able to plow through infantry. If they can't beat them in combat, it just rolls them and carries on. Yeah, I mean, that's one thing that I thought about Land Raider, is like the Land Raider is weak because it can get tied down in combat by like really crappy units. So like, do tanks just need some, you know, like they can obviously shoot now into melee combat. Should they just have a rule where they can shoot out of melee combat? Would that fix it? You know, like if a tank's in melee combat, it could shoot at the units that's in combat with, like, with no penalty. You know, like at the moment it's a -1 to hit, but then it could just shoot against units that it's not in combat with, like with that -1 to hit. Would that fix it? You know, so it's like you can't tie up armor with crappy units. They can either shoot at that crappy units with no penalty, or they can shoot out of combat with -1. I mean, that would be good. Obviously, if they move out of combat, then I guess maybe they have to take a hit. But yeah, some sort of generic rule that can kind of fix some of the bigger pointed tanks probably needs something. It's been a problem this entire edition. It's just been armors. When I say armor, I usually tend to think of tanks. I guess if I say dreadnoughts, I mean dreadnoughts. But yeah, it feels like armor just needs something. Are you saying my little one's up? Yeah, I can hear her screaming in the other room, Robert. You cancelled your pre-order. You cancelled your Kickstarter, did you, Robert? The Army Painter wet palette is good. Yeah, I ordered this fancy looking one. I think it was called Red Grass, and I mean they sold it. They advertised it and sold it to me pretty well on Kickstarter. So I guess it's just a case of like they must have had real problems getting it. I mean, every time they email, it seems like it's progressing. I guess it's just progressing very, very slowly. Core strap for all tanks to fall back and shoot on a -1. I mean, the problem, I guess, is that right now tanks don't really have a quote-unquote tank keyword, do they? So we need to give them all like some sort of keyword, I guess, that gives them the ability to do that. But yeah, I mean, that could help armor a lot. Maybe armor is the word they're looking for. But yeah, armor's been off the radar a lot in this edition, which is a little sad, I guess, because a lot of people have like a lot of tanks and stuff that they've never really managed to find a way to field them this edition. I'm really not sure how well you guys can see that basing, or the dry brush on the basing on this camera, but so I'm working on. I've not finished the models yet, but I figured I'd just base them just now. Why not? Azrael says Red Grass make good products. Yeah, that's why I kickstarted it, honestly, because I heard that people had said that the first one was really good. I'm sure it'll come eventually. It's not like it's gonna make a huge difference to me. I've been painting for what, 5 years now, longer, without a wet palette, so you know, not having it, I don't know what I'm missing, I guess, right? Just add it to the data sheets like Duty Eternal. Yeah, I mean, you could add something. I mean, who knows what's coming with Space Marine Codex 2.0, I guess, right? Maybe they're one step ahead of us and they've thought about all of that. Oh, balls. Good evening, Steel Rain. How you doing, brother? When is the Blood Angels biker list coming? I actually don't really own as many firstborn bikers as other people, you know that? I own like attack bikes, but I don't really own like the firstborn bikers with like chainswords and stuff. But I do think that they actually got a lot more viable with Armor of Contempt, right? Because they're toughness 5. Well, I mean, they're toughness 5 bikes. They can zoom around. They can do engage in all fronts. I like the firstborn bikers like a lot more now. Has anyone run firstborn bikers since the Armor of Contempt rule has come in? Has anyone done it? And if so, how did they get on? Good evening, Lorenzo. How you doing? Nice to see so many familiar faces tonight. I do really appreciate the support, guys. I saw a lot of people watch the video about the winning list this week. It's very much appreciated when you guys watch the videos, especially some of you guys always leave like really detailed comments on every video. I appreciate that as well. Will we see more Ravenwing lists now? I mean, I still think it's early to tell. I mean, in some ways, I would have thought Dark Angels might be more tempted to run even more Terminators now. I mean, that's just the thing. Like, who knows what we're gonna see? I guess. You know, we've said in here a few times, or on my channel a few times, that I think that we'll see some people really shift away from Storm Shields, but I think that I think there will be a shift back towards Storm Shields, because I think other armies will shift towards trying to fight Marines with really high AP stuff. So, still having Storm Shields and stuff to sort of counter that. May or will be really important. I think it will be really important. How do people feel about marble bases? Evan from Origin Painting, who was on the channel last Saturday night when we were doing the painting competition, he did a video on how to do marble bases. I'm not really familiar with marble bases. I just use the GW texture paint for my bases and then like dry brush them like I'm doing just now. So my bases are kind of simple. But I have seen some very cool like marble bases, right? And like I said, Evan did a really cool job with them over on his channel. So if you want to check out how to do some marble bases, you could do a lot worse than checking out Evan's channel. It's just Origin Painting. Do I plan to insert a company champion? I don't love the company champion, honestly. I see how he can be used effectively, but and I've used him before, and I've used him with his martial, what did you call it? Martial exemplar, like his strat that basically like gives an aura of reroll charges. I'm just not. I feel like I'm just not a huge fan of how he runs or how you run him. And also, I really like I've said it before, I really like my characters to be really survivable, and I don't think the company champion is really survivable. What do you think of the new event models being immediately legend units? Do you mean the Primaris company champion, the one that was released not long ago? Tabletop Tactics have done White Scars v1000 Sun game. I mean, that will be interesting, I guess, with the new rules, because White Scars typically favouring Lightning Claws might do a lot worse against 1000 Suns now. I mean, I guess it makes, if it's a limited edition release that only certain people can get, right? I guess it makes sense that it's a Legends rule. I think I think, and I could be wrong here, I mean, I just don't really understand the logistics, or I don't understand the logic, I guess, of, I think it's more the Games Workshop logic. Like, if they've made this Primaris champion as a model, like, why is he an event-only character, like, and in the sense of him being an event-only character, yes, he is Legends, because only certain people can get him. I understand that part, right? Like, you wouldn't want a model that only like 500 people got to be part of the main rule set, but I don't really know why they haven't just released the model to the wider public, unless they're just wanting to test it first or something. Thank you for subscribing, Wilson. I appreciate it. So yeah, if they're going to release a model that only 500 people can get, it makes sense that it's Legends. I guess my point is, like, why are they releasing it in a way that only so many people can get? You know, like, should it not just be... Because you can't balance the game where only certain people can get certain models. I mean, that's kind of stupid, right? So I understand why they've done that, but I don't understand why they're doing it only certain people can get the models. Which I think is the bigger problem here than them making the rules Legends, I guess. Mephisto says, morning John, still doing the Terminators, keep up the good work. Yeah, I mean, I'm getting close with these Terminators. I know I've been doing them on stream for like a long time, but these guys are ridiculously detailed, and I've said I've pretty much never claimed to be a fast painter. So yeah, I'm still doing these Terminators for what feels like forever, but yeah, I'm feeling like they're getting there. I mean, I've done the bases. I'm not doing edge highlighting, but I've done all the recess washes now, or most of the recess washes. It's just going to be a case now of like tidying up all the mistakes I've made, and I'm sure there's a lot, especially on this guy's base because it's one of these custom bases. So trying to tidy up all the mistakes I've made, and then hopefully starting to finish them up. I don't know, maybe like there is 5 of them, so I honestly think at least one more 2-hour painting stream on them, maybe 2, and I'll be happy with them. There's sort of a lot of little details to still pick out, which is mad considering I must have spent like 40 hours on these guys at this point. Cameron says, brand new to 40k in general, first army is Blood Angels. Usually I focus learning how to paint the model first. You can do both. As long as your friends are cool with it, they should let you play with unpainted models. What I don't like doing personally is rushing models. You know, like I don't like rushing if it means that they're going to look bad on the table. So I prefer taking my time. So one way you can do that is if you are going to be painting, you could paint them, you know, like pick like 3 colors and paint them to a point where like there is 3 colors on the model. Yes, it's obvious that they're not finished because you only put 3 colors on them, but 3 colors is normally the number of colors that people say you need to play, I guess. Ed says my painting is super clean. Thanks, Ed. I mean, it's I guess my style is accurate. Like I can't do super fancy edge highlighting. I can't do blending. I can't, what else can I, you know, I can't do object source lighting, whatever you would call it. Object source lighting? Yeah, I think so. So there's a lot of things I can't do. But I mean, I suppose I think the painting is, you get as, however much you put in is what you get out of it, right? So I just like my models to look kind of clean, or accurate, I would say. Event models are going on made to order 6 months later. Well, if they go on made to order and everybody can get them, then I think they should probably have rules. But if everybody can't get them, then I think it makes sense for them to not have rules. And they're just like a model that you bought because you wanted something unique from an event you went to, I guess, right? And that's okay, you know, every game you play doesn't have to be super competitive, and maybe it is cool to have a Primaris company champion when nobody else has one, you know? You're gonna need to get some Gene Stealers and then you can stream some Space Hulk. Do you know what, I quite fancy buying the Space Hulk box set at some point, Highland Phoenix. I did have a look on eBay for one not that long ago. So maybe I could keep an eye on eBay. Just because, like, it's unique Blood Angels Terminators and I feel like I should have them. But yeah, I've never painted a Gene Stealer in my life actually, so that could also be fun to do at some point. Crobat, thank you so much for becoming a member. Battle Brother, I do really appreciate it. You are a legend, my friend. Thank you. And it's a new member. First time membership. Thank you very much. But I always find when I'm trying to be super clean, every time I look at the models, I find something that's like a little bit, like I don't like it. And then it's like, oh god. That was one of the things that I find hardest, is like when you just sort of throw your hands up and be like, these guys are so close to being done that I'm just calling them done. It can be quite hard to just decide, like, yes, these, you know, I'm not painting this guy anymore. I've spent long enough on him, I need to move on to the next squad. That can be difficult to do as well, you know? I still want a Terminator Sanguinary Priest data sheet since that's the thing in Space Hulk. I didn't know that you got a Terminator Sanguinary Priest, Hydra. That would be cool if you had a Sanguinary Priest that could arrive with Terminator armor. Make him a bit more survivable with Armor of Contempt. I mean, I guess Artificer armor has got a little bit of a improvement now, because I always used to say to people like, oh, I don't think Artificer armor is any good. You know, the relic that gives you the 2-up, 5-up. But maybe there's a little bit in that armor of Artificer armor now. 2-up with ignore AP1 is generally not bad, is it? I got 10-15 more minutes tonight. Long time watcher, love your content. The Terminator's looking good, Commander. Thank you so much, Cobalt. I will be so happy when this Terminator squad is going to be finished, and I guess probably people in chat will also be happy because I've been painting them on stream now for... It must be like 2 months I've been on these Terminators. I don't get a whole lot of time off stream for painting. I literally do no painting off stream at the moment. When I'm not streaming, I'm working on videos for the channel, so like I literally never paint when I'm not streaming anymore. So yeah, it will be good. If I have like holidays from my day job, then sometimes I'll do painting, because you know, that's like just painting that's not streamed. And I enjoy doing that. It's just I don't, with the 2 kids and with the day job, I never get time to do it anymore. So am I sold on Blood Boil and Smite? I mean, I've been using Blood Boil and Smite for probably like, I don't know, a couple of months maybe? Maybe a little bit longer. I mean, I've been running Mephiston for a while now. I took Blood Boil's a strange one, because on paper you think it's really good, but like in practice after using it a lot, like it doesn't seem to do mortal wounds very often. I think it's just because there's like the double roll. You have to roll against the psychic test and then you have to roll again against the leadership of the model, so like because it's kind of a double roll, its reliability is lower. So I am actually kind of thinking that Blood Boil might not be that strong. It does seem strong on paper though, and it's, you know, the problem with Smite is it has to be the closest target. Blood Boil doesn't have that restriction, it's just visible. So again, it's another thing where like on paper you're like, yeah, Blood Boil would be useful. I mean, I guess if you're going to try and run a buffing librarian, and I think Mephiston can do that, you can be a buffing librarian. Unleash Rage, Blood Boil, and Wings to let him get into combat later in the game is good. Like, I like it. I do like it. Killamus says you want to become famous and buy viewers. I'm good, Killamus. But thanks for the spam, do appreciate it. Buying viewers is literally the stupidest thing you can do. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I've made a video on Mephiston since I changed how I was running him. And I felt like it was important to change how I was running him, because I think as a raw beat stick character, like, you know, he'll survive a little bit more now than he would have before with Armor of Contempt, but I still think that running Mephiston as a beat stick is probably the wrong call, even with Armor of Contempt. I think you get more value out of him early in the game, like spend 2 turns as a buffing character and then maybe get involved in combat in turn 3, I think. I think that's, or maybe it doesn't have to be turn 3, it just needs to be only get involved in combat when the right situation presents itself, right? Wait, this is on Twitch too? Yeah, I mean, I stream on both YouTube and Twitch. But I mean, most of my content is YouTube focused. But I mean, if you have the Twitch app and you can't get YouTube for some reason, a certain location, my video content goes out to YouTube only, but my live streams go out to both Twitch and YouTube. And the chat on screen should show people from both Twitch and YouTube, so you should be able to like cross chat. Can I glitch to Twitch because I get a free sub? I could give you it, but you can't. There's some stupid clause on Twitch where you can't give me I can't make money on Twitch unless I make them my exclusive platform. Maybe that'll change one day, but right now I would love to have your free sub, but I'm not allowed to take it, I guess. I like Mephiston traveling with a Sanguinary Guard, putting Shield of Sanguinius on them. I mean, Shield is good, Unleash Rage is also awesome, I think. Yeah, it is bollocks. I spent ages trying to get all the subscribers I needed on Twitch and the viewers and stuff to become an affiliate. And then if you actually read the small print, you can only be an affiliate on Twitch if your content goes out to Twitch 24 hours before all other platforms or something like that. That's the small print. It was like, wow, all my users are on YouTube. I'm not going to alienate all my users to become a Twitch affiliate, so it's the way it is. But no, I do really appreciate you guys offering. Thank you. I have to do a couple of transfers on these Terminators as well, especially this one here, like the Space Marine Hero one, because he's not a Blood Angel specific one. Then he has like a shoulder pad with nothing on it, so I'll need to get... Is that the only shoulder pad that has nothing on it out of all these? Yeah. And then, yeah, so basically just be maybe like one transfer, and sometimes if there's a little, like, I could put a little transfer here as well if I could find something small. Like a little blood drop or a little set of wings or something. Mephiston is one of the last characters that I'd take. Well, you're sleeping on him, Reziel, because he's good now. A 0 or a 1-up save on cover with ignore -1 AP is pretty darn good. I mean, he's T5 as well, and 5-up feel no pain. I think he's good. I think he's crying out for a +1 to cast and a D3 damage weapon, but I don't think he's unfieldable as he currently is. I honestly think I'm gonna take him to my next tournament. See if I can win GT with Mephiston or an RTT or something with Mephiston in the list. Because I don't think anyone's done that. Other people have won tournaments with Blood Angels. Has anyone won one with Mephiston this edition? I don't think so. He has basically had two buffs in the points cost drop, and then Armor of Contempt actually works really well with his profile, because like his big problem was that he had no invulnerable save. Well, no invulnerable save isn't as much of a problem if you have a 2-up saving and ignoring -1 AP, right? Paint Hazard Stripes on the shoulder pad. I mean, I don't know if Terminators and Hazard Stripes necessarily go together, but I mean, it's a cool idea. He needs +2 to cast. He does need something to cast. I agree with that, but you know, like I was thinking, I guess the way that you have to see him is, because I was thinking about this as well, because you know, quite often in a game Mephiston fails a cast and I have to pay a CP to reroll it, right? Like that often happens, and the key casts that I'm probably going to need to do that on are like an Unleash Rage in turn 1 and 2. So like my thought behind it was, if I did take like another librarian, and let's say we gave him like chief librarian to get the +1, then is that much difference than spending the one on a reroll, and then Mephiston is going to be like so much more survivable than a regular librarian, right? Because the extra toughness, the extra save, the extra feel no pain, and he's also going to be a lot more mobile than an extra a normal librarian, because I suppose you could give the normal librarian the jump pack, but if you don't, then he's more mobile. And it doesn't happen very often, but like in the game against Tau this week, Mephiston killed 10 guys in a single turn, right? You know, like, I don't think I've ever seen a regular librarian kill 10 guys in a single turn. It just doesn't happen. So yeah, Mephiston is it's like you're obviously trading away some of his psychic potential for the combat potential. And you know, like I've always said that I like my characters to be durable. Well, Mephiston's going to be the most durable librarian, I'd argue, right? Because I don't think you could make unless you're going to give your librarian armor Indominus, which typically I'd like to put on my chapter master. Like, I don't really want to give that up. So unless you're going to give your librarian armor Indominus, I don't know if you can make a more survivable librarian than Mephiston, just with extra toughness and the feel no pain, right? So he kind of fits the way I like to play. Use masking tape on the sides to save some time. Yeah, I mean, I could. I usually end up painting the sides God knows how many times. But I've done the bases now, so the bases are dry brushed and washed and all that, so this should be the last time I have to paint the sides. I guess it means I get a good solid coat of black, because I do about five coats on the sides, I guess. Yeah, no, these Terminators are getting super close. I think next time just picking out some final details on them. And then, yeah, probably just picking out some final details. Maybe some final little bits of washing here and there. Did we already talk about the double priest build? I haven't really talked about the double priest build beyond what I talked about in this week's video, Steel Rain, and personally I'm not really a fan of the double priest build. But again, it probably comes down to playstyle, right? You guys know that, like, I typically try and spike my power in turn 3. So a double priest is possibly not going to help me all that much, because most of the time I'm aiming to, like, the amount of games I've turned the tide in turn 3. I play a little bit slower in turn 1, and turn 2 try and set up for the turn 3 charges. So I guess the question is, you know, like, do you guys like the double priest build? Is it something you guys are considering? I mean, I'm just not even remotely in the ballpark of the priest, and I guess with Armor of Contempt, like, I don't even know if I feel like I need a. Well, I haven't run a Sanguinary Priest now in probably a year, right? Ever since they put him up to 155 points for the Selfless Healer, I stopped running him. That was last September, actually, because I remember I was going to the tournament in September, and I remember speaking to Andrew about it, and I was debating with Andrew. I was trying to say to him, like, what do you think I should run? Because obviously I play Andrew, or at the time I was playing Andrew every week on stream, and I was saying, like, I can run the build with a Tech Marine, or I can run the build with a Priest. You know, you play me all the time. What do you think is stronger? And Andrew was like, yeah, I think you're much stronger with the Tech Marine and the double Redemptor at the time. So that was pretty much when I stopped running the Sanguinary Priest, and for a little while I was upset or something, you know, because, like, I did like the Sanguinary Priest list, but over the last sort of, I guess I mean, I forgot to res people all the fucking time as well. I mean, that didn't help. I probably wouldn't forget as much right now because I feel like I've been playing the game a lot more since then, so I usually don't forget too many command phase, whatever phase, end of turn shenanigans and stuff now. But I think like if I need a damage boost in turn 1 or 2, I'm just going to use Unleash Rage from Mephiston. I mean, maybe the priest would make sense if I was going like a null zone build and I didn't have Unleash Rage, but I mean, because I thought about this against Tau this week, right? And I was thinking about it because like in turn 2 against Tau, I was going to make a charge with a 7-man Death Company, a 7-man Sanguinary Guard into Storm Surge, and I really need to kill Storm Surge, right? Because like the Storm Surge was going to be a big problem. And as I was doing that, I was thinking in my head, I was like, I can play adaptive strategy on these Sanguinary Priests to put them in Assault Doctor and get an additional point of AP and 7 extra attacks, because it was a squad of 7. And I was like, well, the extra point of AP is worthless because the Storm Surge has a 2-up, 4-up, so more AP doesn't help me at all here. So I get 7 extra attacks for 2 CP. Or I cast Unleash Rage on them, and I'm hitting on 2s and I'm re-rolling 1s. So I actually end up proccing 13 extra attacks from Unleash Rage in that engagement. I think it was. If it wasn't 13, it was right around like 12. It was way more than the 7 I would have got from being an Assault Doctrine. So 7 Sanguinary Guard with 97% chance to hit because of hitting on 2s, re-rolling 1s. On average, I should have procced about 5 extra attacks from Unleash Rage. And I mean, I could still get... You don't have to have the Priest to get Assault Doctrine. I mean, like I said, you could play Adaptive Strategy and get it. But no, I think my 3 characters for the next few months are going to be... Unless anything drastically changes, I think I'm going to stick with Captain on the Bike, or Chapter Master on the Bike, Mephiston, and the Sanguinary Ancient. I'm going to run the Wrath of Baal for a little while. I think the additional mobility is more advantageous to me than the reviving with the Armor of Contempt, right? Or the healing even with the Armor of Contempt, because all our units are much more survivable now. So what's going to be more important, survivability or movement? And I think for me it's movement. Good evening, Big Chief. It has been a while. I'm actually just getting ready to go to bed, actually, unfortunately, so maybe you can catch up some of the stream. But yeah, the Terminators are getting super close. I knew I wasn't going to finish them tonight, but the bases are looking a lot nicer. There's still work to do on them, and the shading now is pretty good overall on all of them, I think. Like I said, maybe like 1 or 2 more sessions, maybe some washings on these gold, maybe some washing on some of the silver here and there. This leather as well, I guess, could definitely use a bit of a wash. But overall, these guys they're getting close. They're getting close. They're battle ready for sure. You have a big 2v2 1k tournament tomorrow. Good luck, Big Chief. And it's nice to see you, by the way. I've not seen you in ages. I guess life catches up with all of us, right? The double priest build is a smart modification to a list type, says Riziel. And yeah, I don't think it's... Obviously that list came out right before Armor of Contempt, but I don't know how... I mean, I guess we're going to see over the coming weeks. But it felt like Space Marines are twice as survivable as they were before Armor of Contempt. So I guess the question is, if we're twice as survivable, do resurrections go up or down in value? Clint used Assault Terminators a couple of weeks ago. I'm still going to use them in my list. I'm not dropping them. I'm not dropping the Storm Shields either, Clint. I get the Lightning Claw ones get a bit better, but Slow thinks they go up in value. Maybe that's a community. I've been doing a lot of votes on the community tab. You know, like we did one last week, Unleash Rage versus Null Zone. We'll do another vote. We'll do a vote on if people think the Sanguinary Priest is more or less valuable now with the change to Space Marine survivability. That's exactly how I'm running mine, Clint. 3 hammers and 2 with dual claws. So I'm going to be back tomorrow night. Crowbolt runs double Sanguinary Guard and Flesh Tearers. And Burgersaurus still runs 5 Thunderhammer Storm Shields. I like mixing the squad. I think 3 and 2 is a good mix. I guess you could go 3 and 2 either way now. You could go 3 Lightning Claws as the primary one, I guess, with additional survivability. I like Terminators. Oh, congrats on the new job. Yeah, so I'm going to be live tomorrow night for the Army List show. About 9:30 UK time, maybe a little bit later. Probably set it for 9:45 actually, because I'm always late when I set it for 9:30. And then on Monday night we're playing Death Guard. I haven't played Death Guard since Armor of Contempt came in, so that'll be an interesting game. So hopefully I'll catch some of you guys tomorrow night, and then on Monday night. And remember, all channel members, for future streams, if you guys click on the super chat button, you do get 1 free super chat every month. So make sure you use your super chat during any stream to catch my attention, because you're welcome to use them. I'm going to see if I can get a better plugin actually that will read out the I'm not actually sure what they're called. They're like member chats. So I'll see if I can get a better plugin to read them out for when we're doing the live games. Because a few people use them during the live games, but it doesn't pop up in the middle of the screen saying what. So I'll see if we can sort that. But yeah, alright. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed seeing some progress on these forever, never-ending Terminators. And I'll catch you guys tomorrow night to look at Army List. Highland Phoenix, send me your updated Army List so I have it before the show. And I'll see you guys then. By the blood, Army made strong.